Welcome to another episode of Spotlight. We're live at NEXT Summit Valletta, and I'm here with Keith from OneHazel. Keith is a very special person because Keith won the next pitch at our focus event for startups and investors. So welcome, Keith, to the Spotlight podcast.
Very much. Thanks for having me, Stuart.
Keith, let's jump right into it. I want to know what it took to win. What do you think happened?
Lots of late nights of preparation. So when we applied to do the pitch, it's not my first pitch, I'll be completely honest, but I was very interested because it's on home turf. We are a Maltese company at the end of the day, so we put a lot of effort into it. I had my co-founder who was listening to me do this pitch about 15, 20 times over.
Wow.
You know, preparing for it. And I think the one thing that I made sure that we did, you know, we were asked to do a 3-minute pitch. We prepped a 2-minute pitch.
Right.
And that allows us to be a bit more calm, and it allowed me to be more calm and easygoing when I was doing that pitch, just because we had a minute extra, and
Yeah.
I think that helped.
That was smart thinking, I think. You know, usually if you're given 3 minutes, you'll take the whole 3 minutes and probably more.
Yep.
The fact that you gave yourself that buffer probably gave you that comfort as well to,
definitely.
to definitely feel like you weren't under pressure, even though it is a very pressureful environment as well.
Definitely pressureful. I mean, I was, you know, pleasantly surprised that there were so many people at the event. There was a packed room, you know, people standing at the back, and it is intimidating because as a startup, you're in a room full of not only your peers, but people you look up to and people that are your potential clients and investors.
Yeah.
So that pressure does build up, but at the same time, I think having that preparation beforehand really helped.
Yeah.
And being up there on stage, then you kind of just shut her out. And what I like to do, really and truly, is just pick on one of the judges and pitch directly to one person, rather than scan the room and listen around. Just look at one. And I think that time it was Jeffrey that I was just looking at when I was pitching. But
Yeah. Well, you have obviously more than 2 minutes today with me to tell me about to tell me about OneHazel. And you know, I'm a little bit of a contrarian. I'm not a huge fan of the elevator pitch anyway, so I'm going to give you a lot more time today to tell me about OneHazel.
Yeah.
Give me a flavor of what it's all about.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to start with how I started the pitch.
Please do.
Right, and it's basically just putting yourself in the mindset that you're either an operator or a vendor, right? And you've just signed an amazing deal, right? You've done your deal. You've been working on this. Your lawyers have been working on it. Your sales team have been working on it. Suddenly, you've signed it, and everyone's super happy. You know you're going to make good money off this deal, and you hand it over to your integrations team, to your tech team, and suddenly they tell you, "Yeah, we have 6 months of backlog. There's no way we can handle this anytime soon," right? You obviously, the priority list exists and you might prioritize, but you're still going to have backlog of work that you've done, work that you're currently undergoing. And what tends to happen then is a few months pass by, that vendor or operator relationship dries up, gets cold, right? Next thing you know, when you're ready to integrate, you'll reach out to them and they'll be like, "Sorry, mate, you know, we now have our own backlog. It's going to be another 3 months, 6 months. What you thought was going to be an amazing deal, 9 months down the line, it's cold, you need to restart everything, and then the integration, the problems with integrations." So we experienced this ourselves many years ago. So I've been 15 years in the industry, working both for operators and studios. And about a year ago, I was in Thailand on a beach with a couple of game studio owners, and they were talking about this specific problem. They turned around to me and said, "Keith, come on, there must be an AI solution for this." So I turned around to them, I'm like, "Give me a year, and I'll come back to Asia with a solution." And this is OneHazel. So what it does basically, as OneHazel, if you're going to let me take a bit more time,
Please do.
is we built an agentic coding team that understands gaming integrations, has a formula for gaming integrations, and applies that formula to get your integrations done Initially, it takes around 3 to 7 days. Your first integration. After that, every following integration takes about 10 minutes.
Right.
And that is basically what we've built at OneHazel.
That's fantastic. It's still it takes that time, and I love that actually, that it takes the time initially to build and to build properly, not to rush it, which I think there is a temptation to do nowadays with AI, to rush things, to not ask the right questions. So what goes into that 5 to 7 day process in integration?
So we believe 100% in our agents, but we have a very strict human in the loop protocol for your first integration. So what actually goes on there is that the agents still build everything from the ground up. They use our data models, they use our plans, but they're also consuming your API docs and your vendor or your supplier's API docs and create that first merge. Then we do human testing. So we've got testers on board, QA guys, and they will check each endpoint step by step. They'll test the flow of the data. They'll make sure that everything is passing as it should be. Speaking with your team, getting your team involved also when needed. But for the most part, it's an internal kind of testing stage. And then when we're confident that 98% of the data is passing correctly, then we allow you to start triggering that integration from your end. After that, we understand now your API model, we understand how your team works, we understand your flows, so the next integrations are done in minutes, right? This is the whole point of it.
How does it feel to also have won the prize package that comes with the Startup and Investment Next Pitch winner? As I know, it contains €25,000 worth of prize from Next, including a booth like this next year at NEXT Valletta. How does that feel to know that you'll be back next year? And I know it's a long way away, but what do you think, or what would you like to achieve, or what would your goals be in the next year, so that when you're back here next year, what would you like to look like at OneHazel?
Well, first and foremost, it's an amazing prize, right? So I've never missed a NEXT Valletta. I've been here from the first one.
Amazing.
This one, and I will obviously be here next year. And for a startup that's bootstrapped, right? 25,000 in stands, marketing, PR. It goes a long way, right? I think one of the biggest issues in startups in iGaming is trust. You know, I mean, it's very difficult for an established company to just go and say, hey, look, there's a company that just started. We officially launched a month ago. So, hey, they launched a month ago. We're going to give them our integrations, right? That layer of trust is built over time. Yet the opportunity to do pitch and get that, let's say, brand association with being a next pitch winner, for example, having these types of interviews, having this type of opportunity to actually spread the word about what we're building, this really helps us as a startup. And next year, when we're here, I want to be the integration layer for the iGaming industry and have a queue of people waiting down in this hall just to get to meet us. And
love that. Well, I really hope that we can, and that prize package can really support that. Because I think there's one thing that we really love to do at Next is support entrepreneurial people and people who have passion for the industry as well. And that's my final question to you is, where does your passion come from for your work, for the industry? Where does it all come from?
Well, 15 years ago when I started working in the industry, I was actually playing poker on a semi-professional level. And because of that, I got into affiliation. And I started realizing how, even from the outside, this industry might look a bit, flashy. It might look a bit, grand with the events that we have next in this beautiful building, for example. But what really struck me was that the people within the industry are actually so nice for the most part. I've made so many friends over the last decade and a half that kept me motivated to keep on innovating within the space. And we've tried different things. We've gone into hospitality at some point. We went into media at some point. But always end up coming back towards the iGaming just because I love the atmosphere. And what I do believe is that this industry has a lot to give back to the wider communities. Especially, I'm very vocal about the proactive use of AI in responsible gambling, for example. And I believe that what other people are building and what we're trying to contribute also towards responsible gambling is not only a gambling thing, but can be used in such wider fields that it's a great testing ground, right? Because we get so much data, there are so many players, and what can be good for the goose sometimes can be good for the gambler, right? So this I think keeps me quite motivated to keep on building in this industry. And also lately I've seen a massive move forward to embrace AI, to embrace innovation, to embrace disruption, which again gives me that impetus to say, look, we're building in the right space. I think we're building in the right community here in Malta and abroad. I mean, we travel obviously to a lot of other conferences and stuff. So yeah, this keeps me excited, it keeps me going, and hopefully, excites other people to join in and build new things in this industry and keep on innovating.
Well, with the rapid pace of AI and how the world is going, a year from now, we might look very different.
Yeah.
OneHazel might look very different. But what I am excited about is to catch up with you next year and see where you're at with OneHazel, with your booth. We're very excited for
it. Do a prediction.
Go for it. Would you like to do a prediction?
My prediction would be that OneHazel would be, I would say, if not the largest, I would like to say the largest, but at least a very large player when it comes to reducing the cost or the integration debt and actually promoting innovation within gaming.
Well, now with that prediction, we're going to have to meet up next year to find out.
For sure.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having me.